Hey everybody, it's Rosie, and today I'm going to be discussing all things related to food and nutrition as you go along your hike of the Appalachian Trail. So first, let's talk about how much food you should be expecting to have available in the first place. It's generally about 4 to 7 days between towns where you can restock, so you shouldn't ever be carrying more than 7 days of food. You should be plenty fine with 7 days maximum, and then you can just pick up something if you need it. You're gonna start the hike, and it'll be about the first 2 weeks where hiker hunger hasn't really kicked in yet, so you'll probably be eating generally pretty normal, about 2,000 calories a day. After that though, you're gonna be burning a lot of calories while you're walking. You're obviously doing a ton of exercise, so that's when they recommend starting to plan for about 4,000 calories a day. Right, which is a lot. So when you're going along, how much should it weigh, right? That's a big question because you're obviously carrying all of this on your back. The rule of thumb is about 2 pounds per day. So if you're packing for 5 days, it should be about 10 pounds total on your back. There's a couple different ways that you can prepare to have this food available, and I will show you a little bit about each of those ways, but there's definitely the preferred method that I have, which is what most people do, but I'll give you all the information up front and then I'll go into my method. One tip/technique about understanding what is a good weight of food for the amount of calories it has is about 100 calories per ounce. So if we look at my beef jerky here, you can see that there's 110 calories, 9 servings, and in total, this was about 10 ounces. So this is pretty close to following the rule of 100 calories per ounce. So I've been using a couple different guides. Here you can see How to Hike the Appalachian Trail by Chris Cage, Comprehensive Guide to Plan and Prepare for a Successful Thru-Hike. I found a lot of really good information about this, and Chris also talks about food in here. So I'm going to show you some of what he says. So the first thing you can do is mail drops, and that's when you mail food that you've already boxed up, already purchased before you go on the hike. So this is going to require having somebody who can be sending those packages for you from the outside, and you have to kind of know what you're going to want to be eating before you go. If you decide to go this route, you're going to want to address it with your name. Please hold for AT hiker, right? That's your second line. And then you're going to write general delivery and then city, state, zip code, right? So you're going to send it to these places. Obviously, you're going to have their address here. And you're going to want to maybe put an approximate date of when you're arriving too, so they know how long they're going to be holding it for you. Next, you can bounce boxes. So that would be like if you're in one town and you buy a big bag of food and you split it in half, or you buy toilet paper and obviously you've got extra rolls left over, then you can put it into a box and bounce it from town to town as you go, right? Sending it ahead at every time you use a little bit out of the package. If you don't open the package, you can just resend it again. If you open it at all, then you're going to have to pay for more shipping. So keep in mind, if you're doing a mail drop, you're going to have to buy the cost of the food and then also pay for shipping as you go along. However, some people like to do this, right? If you've got a really particular diet, right? If you have a lot of restrictions, mail drops might be a good idea. There's always the hitcher or the hiker boxes, and those are going to be food that's left over that hikers decided they didn't want, so they put it in a box, and you can just kind of free for all, grab some of those things, and if it's helpful, keep it. And if you have something you don't want, then you put it in. So sometimes you can find good stuff in the hiker boxes as well. So with those other options available, I'm going to tell you about what I'm doing, which is just going to be purchasing food as I go along on the trail, right? I don't know what I'm going to want 3 months from now. I'm not even going to pretend like I know what I'm going to eat. And if you don't like something now, you're not going to like it on the trail. So don't buy something because it's high calorie and low weight if you know you're not going to eat it, because you're still not going to eat it, right? Yeah, so, I mean, common sense with it, but I will go ahead and show you some of the food that I've packed for my first week of when I get on the trail, and feel welcome to borrow these suggestions. Maybe you have a completely different taste, appetite, you have to do what works for you. I also learned from the Appalachian Trail Thru-Hike planner from the AT Conservancy that your meal should consist of about 50% carbs, 25% fats, 25% protein. And so some carbs would be pasta, crackers, potatoes. Fats would be things like cheese, peanut butter is a popular one, pepperoni. 25% protein, that would be like beef jerky, dried eggs, tuna. And then also make sure you're getting your salts for your electrolytes, sugars for energy boost, and of course liquids, so you're not getting dehydrated. So I've got all of my food split into baggies by meal, and I might rearrange this a little bit, just kind of deciding how this fits into my bear bag. I got a bear bag from REI, and this is pretty big. I think it's 20 liter, and apparently it's supposed to be created in a way where bears aren't able to rip this open. However, mice would still be able to get into this if they had a good chance on it. But obviously, you put your food in your bag, you take your bag, and you hang it over a tree, and you tie it over. It should be about, I believe, 16 feet up and 10 feet out from the tree. I'll confirm that. Here in the first bag are drinks. I packed a lot of things with electrolytes just because I know I'm going to be sweating a ton. And over on the other side, I've got some hot chocolate because that's going to be a really nice treat to have at the end of the night. In my second bag, I've got breakfast. As you can see, breakfast. So I've got some protein shakes. I'm really big into getting a lot of protein, and these are pretty good high caloric intake. On the other side, we've got some Pop-Tarts and some protein bars, and then I also packed some vitamins, right, that have a lot of what I need in a day. So if I'm not really hitting all of those categories for vitamins, hopefully I can get some back with these vitamins here. Next, we've got lunch, and I packed some ramen noodles, which are really lightweight and they're crunchy, and I'll probably just eat them dry, just like a salty snack. Got some more protein bars, have some beef jerky. I've heard reports of a lot of people packing too much beef jerky and then they get sick of it. I like beef jerky though, so I went with 2 packs, and we'll see how much I actually get through. Here I have some pulled pork that was just like in the bags, like the little tuna bags. There's things like that have pulled pork, and over here we've got some chicken salad as well. So there's a couple different options with like the Star-Kissed tuna brand. Here I've got some snacks. I've got lots of candy bars because those are very high calories. I've got some gum just because, get bored when you're walking a little bit, something to do. Got some dried fruit. Some peanut butter crackers are here. I've got some fruit strips, right? That's just more dried fruit there. Yeah, lots of things in between. And in the back you can see more of, these are the Star-Kissed chicken packets I was telling you about. So this one's buffalo style, this one's chicken salad. I'll probably put them on some of the peanut butter crackers for a little bit of crunch. Then I've got dinner, some more ramen noodles. These are some this is like a dry vegetable soup mix that I'm going to add into my different meals just for a little bit of flavor and some vegetables. Over here, I've got some stuffing that I can really easily put warm water in and let that kind of do its magic, and then you got a meal. I've got some instant potatoes in here as well. So keep in mind, this is only for the first like 6 days. Then I've got some taco shells. These are pretty high caloric, 140 for something that's pretty lightweight. Yeah, and I'll mix these with my different meals and then also with the chicken. Put that on, make like a little wrap. So that's kind of what I have for now. Very flexible. There's a lot of different foods out there. And when you're hiking, the trails are going to be going through towns that are used to having hikers go through, right? Those stores are going to be trying to make money from hikers, and they're going to have food that caters to that crowd a bit because, right, that's where money is. So yeah, definitely plenty of food opportunities along the route. All right, next up, a really useful guide that I've been using is just called the AT guide. Obviously, AT stands for Appalachian Trail. This is called AWOL by David A. Miller, and this is the 2022 edition, and I've really loved being able to look at this before I go on the trip. It's very detailed, gives a lot of information about distance and elevation and what's available at each site in each town as you go along. But the reason I'm pointing this out specifically in this video is because it gives information on towns that you'll be walking through and food that will be available there, right? So you can see here is a market and deli, things that are available. You can camp there, there's shopping, there's water available, bathrooms. Over here is the roadside grill, best hot dog stand, right? It gives a little bit of information about each of this. So I'll flip down, go to another town. You can see the different stores that are available, tells you a little bit about them. Really useful just as I'm kind of looking ahead, trying to figure out where I'm going to eat, what I'm going to eat, how am I going to be restocking. Another thing you can use is an app called Far Out, which has very similar information to this, and it's something that's downloadable, so you don't have to be bringing a physical book along if you're thinking about the weight, and you probably will definitely be thinking about the weight of your backpack when you make these decisions. All right, that is all I have about food for today. If you have any questions or comments, feel welcome to leave something down in the comment section below, and I will see you guys soon.